Global power shift, Europe trembles, the US calls the shots, and Russia observes. Former US President Donald Trump, a figure who remains one of the most talked-about personalities on the global political stage, has once again sparked heated discussions. He recently shared on social media a statement made by Russian President Vladimir Putin, in which the Russian leader offered a sharp and straightforward assessment of the world's current geopolitical and economic situation. Putin, known for his blunt rhetoric, commented on the consequences of the new tariffs imposed by Washington on goods from China, Canada, and Mexico. According to him, Europe will inevitably face a reality where it has no choice but to submit to US influence. Putin stated, "I assure you, don't doubt it. With Trump's character and his determination, order will be restored quickly in this sphere. Very soon, everything will fall into place, and you will see for yourselves. Those who now try to resist will eventually find themselves at the feet of the master, showing signs of submission. This is an inevitable process, and it will unfold rapidly. But is Europe truly heading towards such a fate? Let's break it down. The US tightens its grip. Economic blackmail or brilliant strategy. In recent years, the United States has increasingly relied on economic pressure rather than military force to exert its influence. This is not a coincidence, but a well-calculated strategy. Sanctions, trade restrictions, and tariff hikes have become new generation weapons capable of bringing even major players to their knees. But will this approach actually force Europe into submission? The situation is more complex than it seems. The European Union is not a single unified entity, but rather a coalition of nations with diverse interests. Some are willing to align with the US for economic benefits, others seek neutrality, while a growing number are exploring alternative paths in response to these shifts. France and Germany have repeatedly expressed their desire to reduce dependence on Washington. But can they truly do so if US economic levers prove too powerful? And what about Eastern European nations, which have historically relied on American support? The stakes are high and the balance of power is shifting. Who will make the next decisive move? Europe in a trap, no easy way out? The European Union finds itself at a critical crossroads, facing three starkly different choices. Option 1. Accept American terms unconditionally, endure economic losses, and, in effect, become an economic vassal of Washington. This would mean sacrificing part of its autonomy, with EU member states forced to play by the rules set across the Atlantic. Option 2. Seek alternative alliances by strengthening ties with Russia, China, and other emerging powers that offer different terms. This, however, comes with risks. Washington has shown it is willing to impose even stricter sanctions on those who dare to break away from its orbit. Option 3. Attempt a delicate balancing act, maintaining the illusion of independence while, in reality, continuing to rely on the US for economic and security support. Many EU countries have already chosen this path, but how sustainable is it in the long run? No matter what path Europe chooses, one thing is certain: the old world order is fading. The geopolitical landscape is transforming rapidly, and those who fail to adapt will find themselves sidelined by the new global power players. Can the EU navigate this storm, or will it be swept away by the tides of history? The global power struggle, who will prevail? As the situation unfolds, one fundamental question remains: who will emerge victorious in this high-stakes game? The US continues to assert its dominance, pushing its economic agenda onto allies and adversaries alike. Europe teeters on the edge, facing potential economic setbacks if it fails to chart a clear course. Russia and China carefully observe the shifting dynamics, strategically positioning themselves for long-term influence. One thing is clear: the era of uncertainty is nearing its climax. We are entering a new phase of global competition, where old rules no longer apply, and new ones are still being written. The ability to adapt will determine who holds the reins of the future. Who will make the first defining move? Independent analytical commentary. We are living in an age where geopolitical power is no longer determined solely by military strength, but by economic policies, trade agreements, and financial leverage. What was once settled on battlefields is now decided in boardrooms and financial markets. For Europe, the stakes are immense. Can it maintain its autonomy while preserving its alliance with Washington? Will the US tighten its grip even further? And how will Russia and China shape their strategies in response? The answers remain uncertain, but one thing is undeniable: global power structures are being reshaped before our eyes. Those who can anticipate and adapt to these changes will define the next chapter of history. The real question is, who will seize the opportunity first?